I got a new job. So I don't know if I've announced that here yet, but I got a new job. It's at Rocket Money, and I'm going to be an office and events coordinator. It's a part-time job. I'm like pretty majorly excited about it because it's a perfect fit for my skills and my talents, my passions and my interests and like everything that I want to do at work is all about making the office better, making the employee experience better, and that's all I ever want to do at work. Like one time I was telling my dad a story about how like at a previous job people were always like, "Oh, look around and see like what you would want to do at this company." And I realized that like I either want to be like the founder or I want to be like the person just making the office better, stocking the fridge, planning events, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So if I can't be the founder, which I'm already the founder of my own stuff, I want to stock the fridge. And so I'm going to be doing that at Rocket Money. And the office is 5 minutes away from my apartment, and I'm really excited about it. So it is part-time, and part-time means that I can still pursue my other passions, my other businesses and projects. Really, really, really excited about that. And my big goal for the year with that is in addition to like nailing this role, like I'm really committed to being like the world's best office and events manager. And I just really want to like really just not only blow myself away, but blow everybody away. And I think I can. I think it's going to be a really fun job for me to have. And like, I'm just excited about it. But my real money goal with like my own businesses in addition to the job is to match my salary from the job with my earnings from my businesses. And I'm really excited to like have that challenge throughout the year. I think it's going to be a good like way to keep myself focused. Each month I can check in, see if I'm higher, lower, whatever. And if I'm able to do that, I will be living a totally different life financially than I lived in 2025, let alone, God forbid, 2024. And so I'm excited to like challenge myself to do that. I think it's pretty possible with all of the work that I did this year in 2025 to set myself up SEO wise, to set myself up just with general like business networking, letting people know, hey, I have a photo booth business and I can do your parties. I did notice that there's a lot of like seasonality with the photo booth business, and that is like a little bit unfortunate compared to like what I thought the world of photo boothing would be. But it doesn't have to be monthly because I should be good with my money and I should be able to save, you know what I mean? I should be able to save, which brings me to my next goal, which really is just kind of prioritizing my business endeavors. And so obviously Rocket Money, like my top priority, number one, getting that job done, keeping that job, making sure that I'm delivering on any promises that I am making with that job and really enjoying it along the way. So I'm kind of thinking of that as like 50% of my time. It literally is less than 50% of my time, but like my effort, you know what I mean? And then I want to do like 30% toward the businesses and 30% like toward businesses that I already know work, maybe really 40% toward those, really where like the photo booth, I know the photo booth is a viable business. It brings in money, it's entertaining, it's fun, it's great. And then also my Ben Hawes HQ content creative services, where I'm making content, producing podcasts for people. That is a good business that I really want to grow in 2026. And then I want to leave like 10% for like experimental tasks. So one thing that's really interesting about 2025, I keep forgetting because in my mind, 2026 is the next year. That's in everybody's mind. But the last 2 years is what I'm comparing it to. So like 2024 and 2025 were very similar for me. And so now I'm thinking of it as like the last 2 years. This new year is going to be new. But one thing that was really interesting about this year was some of my books made me some money, a little bit of money, nothing crazy, but I have a side hustle handbook, and then I have a children's book that I did. And, every now and then people would buy those books. In addition to that, I have some courses online through Skillshare that people take sometimes. And like every month I make a little bit of money from that. So I really want to like build a little bit more momentum for those two, business endeavors, teach more classes. And I'll just announce, I do want to write another book for children, because I do have more children in my life this year than I did in 2023 when I wrote Bounce Baby Bounce. And that is kind of like my goals around business, really around earning. And then in terms of like financial stability, in terms of saving, in terms of like anything that goes with like financial health, my honest to God goal is to just end the year better than I started. That is going to be what I'm focusing on in the year. Like, don't let anything get worse. Don't stay the same. End it better than where I started. So, going to be doing savings accounts, the 401k, health insurance, all of that. And so I'm really excited to kind of see where I end up at 1 year from today. The next one is like health and habits. And this is something that I have been very focused on in like the last 5 years. I've really identified that like my habits are the core of everything that leads to my own success. And so, like, for example, sleeping. I need to be able to like sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. So that's like a solid, like, just goal. Like, I want to be able to sleep every night pretty much for like a good amount of time. And I've been getting better and better and better at that every single year. And that is something that I'm really proud of. To be honest with you, I have really established myself as a better sleeper than I was before. I've also this year become a little bit more of a morning person. And that is, I become a morning person, meaning like I wake up at 7 a.m. And I've also become more of a morning person in that I've had some deaths in my family this year. And I've been mourning those deaths. But that aside, jokes aside, this is New Year's Eve. I really want to just get better at sleeping. I want to get better at grocery shopping, keeping groceries in my apartment, in my fridge, working on keeping things clean, working on, keeping things in order so that when I come home from work, I can cook because the kitchen is clean, for example. That's just a random example. And I find that it all starts with sleep. So if I can sleep well, if I can wake up on time, I can take care of my health and my habits and all of that. I did join the gym. I joined a new gym. I actually need to cancel my old gym, which is on the other side of town. Now my gym, so the thing about the Rocket Money job, it's a freaking 5-minute walk from my apartment. Google says 12, so we'll call it 7. Feels like 5 to me. But the gym that I joined is going to be right on the way. So my goal is to go 2 times a week. That's like my solid end all be all goal. That's going to be about 2 times per week more than I went this year. And so I want to be able to really get myself in a routine where I am going, twice a week. If I go more, that's great. If I go less, that's not great. But like 2 times a week feels very realistic to me. And as we know, realistic goals are important to have. I want to keep up with my health, my prescriptions, my doctor appointments, my dentist appointments. I want to be able to just keep up with all of that and just kind of like I want to keep up with being an adult is what I'm saying. Like, I want to be an adult. I want to be going to the gym. I want to be going to the doctor. I want to be taking my prescriptions. I want to be, on top of it all. I want to be drinking water. I want to be sleeping, things like that. From a creative perspective, my category number 3, I really want to focus. This is where it gets kind of interesting beyond like make money, work out, like I want to really flesh out my ideas more. So me, I will post something immediately after I think of it. I will write a song. I'm posting it within 30 seconds of writing it. That's an exaggeration, but not by that much. I want to be able to hold back, restrain myself, and allow myself to really build out ideas, produce them more. And the reason is like, I learned this year how valuable that is as a creative, because things like my song Freaky With You for Halloween, my Halloween show, the album that I'm working on right now, which comes out February 6th, Boys Who Kept Me Up at Night. And I'm excited for like the fact that I am letting projects have room to like grow and breathe. And the big like lesson that I learned this like back in June, July, when I wrote a really great song that like people really connected to, and I put it out like within hours. Like, it was on Spotify 5 hours after I wrote it. And like, that's one version of cool creative stuff, but it's not the way that I necessarily want to be releasing projects, because I want them to be good, and I want them to reach people that I don't know, and I want them to like have real impact and real reach. And so I am pretty excited to just make this an intention to like let my projects have room to breathe, let them sit for a while before I release them, let them really get produced and fleshed out, and work with people, collaborate a little bit more, to be able to really, make a cool project happen versus just kind of release something kind of like what I'm doing right now in my apartment, whatever. But this is between you and me. This isn't a big project. I want to document things better. Like I want to, not like internally, but like on social media. I realized that like a lot of the stuff that I do, the product is not what's interesting about it, but like the fact that I'm doing it is interesting. Like I'd love to like talk a little bit more with you, my viewer, about really like how I'm doing things and like why I'm doing things and like the struggles behind what I'm doing. So that's like a content goal, like just I really want to like find a way to visually document what I'm doing. So, of course, the ideal would be like have someone follow me around like I'm a Kardashian, but that costs money, and I don't want to do that in 2026 necessarily. But I want to find a way to document what I'm doing and share a little bit more behind the scenes. Because I think in 2026, this is now a social media strategy video, but I think in 2026, like behind the scenes is going to be is already and will continue to be just as important as the final product, as I learned from my own content analysis that I did a couple weeks ago. I also I just want to like continue my investment in like what I call hero projects, like things that come out seasonally: a Halloween song, a Halloween music video, a lyric video, a YouTube thing about my grandma, things that are like bigger projects that I'm calling like hero projects. Where that becomes extra important and extra, aligned with what I'm trying to do is my Life in Bold podcast. You may have noticed I didn't do quite as many episodes in 2025 of Life in Bold, although it remained a part of my brand, a part of like what I did in terms of my conversations, my themes, all of that. Boldness is a part of who I am. It's a part of what I'm trying to achieve and all of that. But I realized that it doesn't need to be a weekly video podcast. And that is just, as you know, so hard to keep up with a weekly video podcast. But I don't want to do audio only. I don't want to do, video once a month, whatever. And so maybe we're announcing my plan for Life in Bold is to do bigger projects, but less often. So I have ideas for like a round table around boldness, like have 2 or 3 people on and talk about boldness in a bigger way than just a casual conversation that's less applicable and less marketable to like a stranger. So people might come to the podcast because they know their friend is on it, but I got to find a way to market it to people who don't know me, they don't know the guest. They're really looking for a lesson on boldness, or like a lesson on comedy, or a lesson on performance, or a lesson on authenticity, or whatever. So Life in Bold can be on Substack. It can be a newsletter. It can be a publication. It can be a place that people go to interact with their own boldness. And so I'm really excited about that because my long-term goal is not straight up comedian, and it's not straight up business person. My long-term goal is not straight up like, mental health guru or anything like that. It is to be a personality who talks about it all, to goes on stage and does a little bit of a TED talk with a little bit of comedy and a little bit of music and whatever. I am sorry to say, multi-hyphenate, and I want to continue to be one. I find it to be excruciatingly fun to be a multi-hyphenate, and I want to continue to do it. So niching down is not what I'm going to do, but umbrella-ing out is what I'm going to do. So Life in Bold being a bigger brand, that's really a publication that follows me around and follows my journey and my path and all of that, is what I want to do. Now, speaking of mental health professionals, speaking of gurus and living your life in bold and all of that, one thing that I want to do is really build a better and more aligned and more natural to me manifestation and kind of like meditation practice. That's something that I want to do because I find that I do like meditating, I do like manifesting, but I haven't found my own like style that really works. It feels like when I'm meditating, I'm often like trying to fit myself a square peg into a round hole. And that's not what I'm doing this year. I don't want to fit a square peg into a round hole. I'm a round hole. I want round pegs. You know what I mean? And so I find that I just want to be able to find something that works for me really, really, really well, something that I own a little bit more. And whether that is just doing a 10-minute meditation, like it doesn't have to be creative or interesting or innovative. It just has to align really well with my style, my schedule, my routine, my habits. Another one that I want to really find a balance with is, so we're like in the life and alignment section now. Like I want to find a better and more aligned way for me to consume the news. I want to be up to date on the news. I don't want to be somebody who is, oh, I can't watch the news. It's all so bad. It's so depressing. I don't like that kind of person, and I don't want to be that kind of person. And I also do find myself to be overwhelmed by the sheer amount of news. You know, there's so much going on. I remember a couple weekends ago when there was the shooting in a university and a shooting in Australia, and there was also, you know, a lot going on with the Trump stuff. And I don't know. I'm going to be honest, don't even remember all the four. There were like 4 things that happened that were huge. And then there was like 16 other things that happened that were like less huge, but also majorly huge. And so I just want to have more of a grasp on that in 2026, because I don't think it's the year for us to just kind of be like, oh, I'm thriving this year and I don't care. You know, that's not the vibe. Like, we're entering a very serious and important year in world history. And so I just want to make sure I have my stance on like, what is it that I'm doing, you know, while also having an awareness that like I'm one person, and me staying up all night, for example, doesn't help the situation. Like, if I can't take care of my own needs, I can't take care of the world's needs, and I can't have this world on my shoulder. But I also need to be able to handle my own habits and make sure I'm well fed, well rested, so that I can contribute in a bigger way in 2026 to like the world happenings. You know what I mean? We have a new mayor in New York City. Maybe I want to help out somehow. You know, there's a lot going on globally. So I just want to like find a balance with news consumption where it's not that I'm trying to escape from it. It's that I'm actually trying to engage more. But I want to do it in a way where I can sustain my energy, so that I can actually contribute. And that's what I think we should all be doing. Number 3 in this, like I want to be I want to be like less impulsive with like ideas, and specifically like in how I spend my time. To give an example, like I was in Nashville a couple of days ago, and I stayed up kind of late, like working on like an audiobook experience that like I thought of 2 hours before. Now, is an audiobook experience a good idea? Yes. It's a grand idea. It's innovative. It's cool. I should do it. But I shouldn't do it 2 hours after I thought about it. And I shouldn't do it like, I don't know. I should have more steps. Like my friend Carrie is a project manager. She's a project manager, management consultant. And so she helps people manage their projects. And I've learned so much from her about planning things out and like being able to just kind of like have a real plan, set things out in place, you know, understand what's going to happen and who's going to be in charge and who's going to be involved, all of that. I tend to skip all of that when I am creating a project. Oh, Alexa, turn on all the lights. And I just tend to skip it. Like I tend to not care about it. I disregard it, and I just go and I do the project. And then ultimately, yeah, the project is good. It might have, you know, been something I'm proud of and whatever. But I've noticed when I do it the Carrie way, I am more likely to like the project and be satisfied and share the project because I'm proud of it. And that's something I'm really looking forward to doing in, say it with me, 2026. And then the last one, okay, this is a big one. Okay, so sit your ass down if you're not sitting down yet. I really want to challenge the assumptions that I have made about myself over the last 30 years. I don't want to think, oh, I'm a picky eater, therefore I can't try this thing. I don't want to think, you know, oh, I hate working out. Oh no, I am not that kind of person. I don't really do that. None of that. Like I want to just kind of like allow myself to be more open-minded, more growth-minded, more like allowing myself to be like, oh, yeah, like I don't like this, but maybe that's an assumption I made about myself when I was 15, and I can allow that to be released. Because I'm getting kind of sick of some of my identities. I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting kind of sick of like some of the little idiosyncrasies that I have and some of the little like things that make Ben Hawes Ben Hawes. Like, I'm done with it. I am over all of those, and I want to just be like open to being who I am in 2026 at 33 and then 34 years old. I don't need to be like imprisoned by the assumptions that I've made about myself, the identities that I've created about myself when I was 12. You know what I mean? So I really want to allow myself to just get out of those and just kind of like, just release my inhibitions, feel the rain on my skin. You know what I mean? I just want to live life. And that brings me to my final one, which every year there's always, I want to start dating. I want to start getting out there. Well, guess what? In 2025, I did. I started dating and I got myself out there. Now I want to do a better job of basically going out and dancing. I want to go out to clubs, to bars, to places where you meet people. And I want to meet people. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go out and meet people. And I did that actually quite a bit in 2025. The only barrier was like, it's expensive to do so. But like, I really find myself wanting to do that, like even more in 2026. And so I'm not going to make a goal. I'm going to be honest, I hate goals that are like, do this 2 times a week, do this 10 times a week. I'm just going to go on dates generally, binarily. I'm going to go on dates at the end of the month. If I'm like, did I meet up with a guy? Did I go on a date? Like, I'll be like, yeah or no. And then I can be like, oh, I didn't hit the goal. But I'm not going to attach like a number. I'm not going to do, yeah, I'll get on Hinge. Great. I'll get on Hinge and I'll swipe on Hinge and do that. I want to go out and meet people in the world, in the city. I want to travel and meet people. You know what I mean? Like, travel around the city, whatever. I am going to do that, and I want to do that, and I'm going to be able to do that. It's not even really a goal. It's more of a focus and an intention. It's not something I have to like overcome to do. That's what I did in 2025. I overcame a fear and like a core belief about myself that like I was not. I'm looking at myself in the camera because I look good and I feel good and I'm like excited about who I am. But like, that has not always been the case when it comes to dating, relationships, love, all of that. And so I'm pretty pumped, honestly, about how I feel about myself, and the work that I did in 2025. I wrote a little poem today. I'll leave you with this. I wrote a little poem today. I won't read it. I'll probably share it later, but it's this idea that at the end of every year, we always say, oh, I want next year to be different. And we always want to change and we always want to grow and we always want to set intentions and goals and focuses and whatever. And we say like, oh, I hope this year is different because if I can make it different, then it'll be this, this, and this. But we do that every year and we say that every year and we try to make every year different. And what is the truth is that the change is constant. And the fact that we say that at the end of every year and then we go and we try to achieve the things that we try to achieve and we try to be the things that we want to be and accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. And then at the end of the year, we say, I hope next year is different. Well, it will actually be the same because you're going to do more of the same. You're going to say, I'm going to try to improve this. I'm going to try to grow here. And that's what life really is. And that's what growth really is. Over time, you're going to say each year, I want this year to be different. But in reality, it's not that it's different and it's not that you're changing who you are. You're actually continuing who you are. And the new year is just a checkpoint. Anyway, I will leave you with that. I hope you have, I'm going to be honest. I hope you have a great 2026. I hope you have an amazing set of opportunities come to you. And I hope that you take them. And I hope you dance. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. You know what I mean? And I hope you dance. And I will leave you with that. I hope you have a great day and even better week. And do not ever forget to live your life in bold.